All right, Space Wolves and Tech Priest, well, actually, you know what? Iron Priest fans, welcome on in. This is Sprues and Studs, and yes, I am finally getting around to review the Space Wolves Iron Priest. I know it's been a little while since it was released, but I finally got some room in the product release window that I can squeeze this action figure in. So as they say, it's better late than ever. Iron Priest unwrapping time. Let's free him from his box. Opening. All right, Techmarine fans, we have the Space Wolves Iron Priest in front of us, and you may be asking, where the heck is the backpack? I will review the backpack in just a second, and the reason for that is, well, that thing is an entirely different entity / beast. So we'll take a look at the body of this Wolf Priest first. And you also may be wondering what the heck is going on with this guy's pauldron. Well, when I pulled him out of his plastic sarcophagus, this actually just popped off. So yeah, JoyToy. Gotta love the QC there. Anyway, that being said, let's focus in on this guy right here. So what we have, well, you have a very unique sculpt for the helmet, which is really cool in my opinion. It's very wolfy and very, well, unique in the fact that I'm pretty sure that this guy is only one that's rocking this type of helmet. And I will have to say there is some really cool texture that is happening with the helmet up here too. The plastic is kind of rough and corrugated, and you can actually feel it too. And as we're moving on down, the lenses are a red metallic color, which is also pretty cool. And you also can see the massive wires that are running across the whole entire helmet, and there is plenty of lovely shading that is happening with it. So we will take a look at the pauldron, which contains the Cog Mechanicum. It's got a Fenrisian wolf skull right here, and you can see once again this beautiful patina here where the plastic is once again rough and corrugated and also shaded in the deeper recesses to give a nice 3D type of look. So we're going to put this broken pauldron down and look at the other side. You got a perfectly screened Space Wolf symbol here. Moving on to the middle section, you have another Fenrisian wolf skull with a cog here, and then these 4 plastic straps that are running on the front of this Iron Priest, and on the side of it there is plenty of wires that are running from the backpack all the way to the middle of this area. And we are going to take a quick look at the arms of this action figure, and of course, because he is an Iron Priest, he's got a bionic arm. The arm is heavily weathered, just like what we see in the bolt rifles. Lighter silver upon a dark gunmetal base. And on the other side, we get to see there is almost like a Pip-Boy. You got a screen here and some red and blue buttons. And moving on down, let's take a look at the middle section here. So he is wearing a pretty big belt, and in the center of a belt is a wolf. And we get to see a bunch of highlighting on the top of the wolf, as well as a nice red gem that is sitting in the middle. And there are more wires that split up over here into, well, black, yellow, silver, red, and blue wires. I mean, that's a lot of stuff that's going on there. As we progress further on south, there is a wolf's pelt, and the wolf's pelt is actually very cool too, in that it is light brown on the outside and progresses to a darker brown on the inside. But you can also see that there are light highlights that are happening. There's an amulet, a hammer here. So there's definitely a lot of texture that we come to know and love, especially with the Space Wolf pelts here. And moving on down, you get to see more of this pronounced corrugated and rough patterning with the armor. And on the right knee is the Space Wolf's chapter symbol, and another Fenrisian wolf on the left side one. And look at this gorgeous texturing that's happening with the whole entire action figure, especially down here. It is really pronounced and really interesting. So we're gonna put the body of the action figure down and take a look at the scopes that are supposed to be sitting at the top of the action figure. So you got scope number 1, that is obviously black and has lots of highlights here on the edges of it. And in the center here, you get to see a translucent green lens, which is really cool to see. And then on this other one, once again, highlights on the edges of the scope, and then blue lenses up top and a red lens here. Though I would have actually preferred if it was metallic blue and a metallic red. That would have made it stand out a little bit more. All right, now that the body is done, let's take a look at that crazy backpack. Well, this is, to be honest, the best position I can do for this backpack because it wants to go all over the place. But let's take a very deep dive into it. The first thing that we're going to take a look at is this Hellfrost pistol. And what I find also interesting is that all the weapons are actually attached to the backpack and they don't come separately from this action figure. I guess I would have preferred it if it was separate, but this is exactly how we are given it. So looking at this Hellfrost pistol, it is of a gunmetal color, not as dark as what we've seen before, but we do see that within the insides of this area, it is a translucent blue color, and on the other side is also translucent blue. And that glow is also evident down here, as well as over here as well. So let us take a look at the Tempest Hammer. So the Tempest Hammer is a little bit different from the Omniscient Axe, which the rest of the tech priests seem to like to wield. And we get to see, once again, the Cog Mechanicum with the Fenrisian wolf skull in the middle of it. On one side of the hammer, it has a very kind of sickly yellow look in the recesses of it. And with the other side, it looks like the Hellfrost pistol in that it's got that blue glow right here. And as we progress on down, this thing has fairly ornate gold regions here, as well as the red handles in between. Now flipping around, let's take a look at the servo arm. And one thing I'll have to say about the servo arm is really cool is, well, it has a wolf's head here. And the wolf's head, I'll have to admit to you, I wish had a little bit more stuff going on with it. I would have appreciated if there was shading that was happening between these vents, as well as some sort of different color for the eyes. And the same goes for the other side of this wolf. And you may be wondering if the bottom of this part actually moves around. No, it is actually static. However, this part of the servo arm can be moved, as you can see right here. And the servo arm is also of a gunmetal color that has been weathered with that light silver dry brushing that we see in a lot of the JoyToy action figures. This is almost like a pneumatic piston here that goes up and down. Same thing with this area as well. You can see the piston going, which is a nice touch that JoyToy added. And the servo arm is connected with a bunch of soft, flexible plastic, well, wiring. Taking a look at the rest of this backpack, you get the characteristic Space Wolves gray color, as well as a bunch of wires that are running around, a regular Cog Mechanicum, and that is pretty much it. All right, the Iron Priest has been fully reviewed. Let me give you my final thoughts on it. I really don't exactly know why it took me so long to get this Iron Priest. Now that I have completely reviewed him, there are, again, a lot of things to like about this action figure that are completely unique to him. So the first thing I'm going to point out is the armor. The corrugated kind of look is very interesting, and it is not replicated in a lot of the action figures, if any at all. So I also think there's a ton of stuff that's going on with the Tempest Hammer as well as the Hellfrost pistol. I really like the glow on the Hellfrost pistol, even though I think that the blue could be amped up a little bit more. And also the servo arm is completely unique in and of itself because it's got a wolf's head on it. Do I recommend this action figure to you? Well, obviously, if you're a fan of tech priests or you're a Space Wolves fan, obviously you're going to want to be a completionist and obtain this one. But I still think this might be a niche figure for just your average collector. If you do like this kind of aesthetic, then I totally recommend you getting this action figure. And speaking of getting this action figure, please click on the link in the description below to be directed to an awesome vendor for these action figures. And with that being said, thank you so much once again for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one.